we've had a lot of success with running digital and radio together.
Welcome to Mastering Marketing, your daily dose of marketing wisdom. Welcome back to Small Biz Buzz and my Mastering Marketing podcast for small business owners. I'm your host, Keith Hanshaw, and for the past 15 years, I've been helping small business owners grow their business through effective marketing. Each episode, I sit down with successful small business owners who share their marketing secrets to help your small business succeed. Today, we're diving into how a smart combination of radio and digital advertising can skyrocket your business results. We'll discuss the 95-5 rule, the 4 keys of successful advertising, and why it's crucial to be known before you're needed. Plus, stick around, and at the end of the episode, I'll share details on an exclusive free event in the Harrisburg, Camp Hill, York, and Lancaster, PA markets, where you can learn how to trade your product or service for valuable radio advertising and enter for a chance to win $5,000 in free advertising. My guest today is Keith Brandt, the owner of Genie, proudly serving customers across Pennsylvania and Maryland. Keith B. recently leveraged a small digital and radio advertising strategy, turning his $2,300 December budget into 20 new annual clients, and that was just the beginning. He scaled up in January and February, bringing in an impressive 120 new clients, bringing in a whole bunch of new revenue. Keith B. will be sharing firsthand how combining digital ads and radio promotions with Wink 104 dramatically boosted his business. Keith, welcome to the channel.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about Genie and what inspired you to start this business.
We are a poop scoop subscription service. Had this dumb idea of scooping dog poop, and most people told me I was nuts, and here we are. I wanted a business that was recurring revenue and something that was simple that people could afford. And we launched about 3.5, 4 years ago, and here we are today. And we are what we are today. We do about 10 or 11 counties in Pennsylvania, and then we do 4 in Maryland.
Very nice. Before partnering with Wink 104 for the radio and talking to me about your digital campaign, how are you advertising your business?
We did some billboard campaigns. We did some direct mail marketing. We did Google AdWords campaigns that I was doing myself, and I have no clue what I'm doing. We also did some Facebook marketing, social media marketing, things of that nature, and your standard pick up signs.
So yeah, when you look at the marketing landscape, right, there's a ton of ways that you can market, and every marketing option that you pick has merit in some cases, right? Like billboards, people drive by. If you have a hotel or something that's off an exit or an event that's coming up that you want to promote, billboards are good for getting that out for people that are driving by. But advertising is not the kind of thing that you see it one time, right? And then I'm going to stop my day and go to wherever that is, right? So you need to identify the best avenues for your marketing dollars, right? Because nobody has unlimited marketing budgets. You want to be able to effectively use your marketing budget to reach the right people. So there's a marketing rule called the 95-5 rule that teaches us that at any given time, there are only ever 5% of people who are in your market who are actually in market for the product or service that you provide, right? 95% of the people out there aren't interested in what you offer, or at least aren't interested right now. So marketing has 2 distinct jobs: converting the existing 5% in market now and creating future demand for the 95% who may have a need for your product or service in the future, right? There's really an importance of being known before you're needed, because when we want something or need something, we think about what we want, right? We decide to buy in our mind. So there's an importance of being known before you need it, right? You want to be the name that somebody thinks of when a triggered event in your life happens that causes the need or want for the product or service that you offer, right? The decision to buy really takes place in our mind, not at the store, not online. So your business name needs to be known before you're needed. So when a customer has a triggered event in their life, it creates a need or want for that product or service. I feel like I'm being repetitive, but
Sowing and reaping, sowing and reaping.
But you want your name to be the name that people think of, right? What led you to try radio and digital advertising specifically?
I was doing a lot of the digital stuff on my own. Um, and you know, I'm a I'm a poop scooper. You know, what do I know about digital advertising? In the beginning, when you start a company, you're trying to do it on the cheap. So in the beginning, you're doing a lot of it on your own. Um, and what you realize over time is that you could pay somebody else to do it and have it done well, and you're going to get that return. And you're going to get that return tenfold because somebody's actually doing it correctly and keeping an eye on the marketing. Um, when you run a business, it's easy to, you're in the business usually in the beginning, instead of running the business, you're in it.
Hmm.
So you just don't have time to really monitor the marketing programs correctly. You set it up, and then you forget it. You set it, forget it, and then 6 months later, you look at keywords or you look at what you're doing, and you're like, what am I? I should have changed this 3 months ago.
I'm paying
So
$27 per click.
yeah, doing the digital program. One of the things I like about your digital program is you guys meet with me once a month, and it forces me to look at it. It forces me to block out an hour every month to sit down, look at it, and be like, no, no, let's get rid of this. Let's keep this. Let's try this. And it lets me be a little flexible and adjust. Um,
Yeah.
remember when I came to you and said, I want to add more money, we're
Yep.
going to Maryland. We need more budget, and
Yep.
we can adjust and make changes when we need to. Uh, and you can grow alongside of us. And, we've done all those other programs. Um, we've done a lot of traditional marketing, and a lot of it's great, but I find that combining digital with radio has been the best thing for us as far as um, getting recurring clients and um, planting those seeds. So people, when they think of Poop Scooper and they need somebody, they know we're here.
Yep.
I know we're not going to get them right. I know we're not going to get a lot of people right away. We just want to plant Poop Genie in their head. So when they think
Let it
about it,
fertilize.
yeah, yeah. My wife was on a job interview, and they said, "What is your?" They said, "Why are you here?" She said, "Because I need insurance because my husband's self-employed." And they said, "What does he do for a living?" She said, "You ever hear of the Poop Genie?" And they all go, "Yeah, we know who the Poop Genie is." That's what we're trying to accomplish. Okay. And that was like
Brand
an aha
recognition.
moment where I said, all right, what we're doing is working, you know? And that's what we want.
Yep. Regardless of what marketing medium that you're using, right? Digital radio, print, TV, OTT, or any other options out there, there are four keys that will help you run a successful campaign: reach, frequency, consistency, and the message. Your message needs to reach a lot of people, right? You need to reach them frequently. And from that aspect, you're better off reaching 100 people 10 times each than you would be to reach 1,000 customers one time each, right? You need consistency in your advertising. People need your product or service today. They're going to need it next week and the week after that. So you need to consistently be advertising to stay top of mind. The last key is the message. You need a great message or offer, right? If you have all four, your campaign will be successful. If you're not getting results in your advertising, you're missing one of these four keys. Can you share some insights into the creative or messaging strategies that you use that resonate so well with your customers?
I think you need it. I think when you do a lot of the advertising, you need to have some sort of bone so they're interested. Something to draw them in, whether it's a free this, or a free that. It could, um, because they're gonna start checking it. They're gonna go to your website and touch you, and when they touch you, a lot of good things happen. Because you do digital.
Yep.
Um, uh, and when that happens, now all of a sudden they're kind of into the queue. If they request a quote, now we can, even if we don't close them in the beginning, next year they get a postcard. Next year they're, our digital's constantly touching them for the next 30 days. So our goal always is to welcome those people in, to get them to check out what we're all about, and when they do, have a way to touch those people again a second, third, fourth, fifth time, because it takes time. It takes time, and that's a lot of people. They want immediate gratification, and owning your own business isn't immediate gratification. It's a lot of believing in yourself and believing in the company and believing what you're trying to accomplish, and then having this false faith that you're going to spend money and that's going to bring you clients. And in the beginning, the clients are there, but you're just starting the farming process, and then you start to really you start pulling things out, and the farming process gets really good because everything you've planted over time starts to come to fruition, and that's kind of what happened with us.
Yep.
So,
So how quickly did you notice results after launching your digital campaign when we switched everything over?
um, probably 2 or 3 months. I would say 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, most
Uh,
businesses 3 to 6.
yeah, yeah. So we're a niche market, so we are unique. So I think it goes a little faster for us.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but I mean, we were trying to run our own digital, and I knew that when we changed over that there would be a pause. So our business is kind of seasonal on the marketing front when we bring on recurring clients. So we scheduled it that way. So we scheduled it so we could run the digital for a couple months, 3 or 4 months before busy season,
Hmm.
and that kind of worked really well for us. And it's not immediate. That algorithm or whatever's going on there with your digital, you just got to let that churn a little bit. I'm sure there's a churn rate on that, and you just got to let it do its thing. Don't get frustrated. Believe in this. Believe in the system. You know.
Absolutely. Advertising really happens over an extended period of time. You can't plant an apple seed today and expect to pick apples next week, right? Only 18% of the budget that you spend today affects your sales this month. 24% of the budget affects sales 2 to 5 months from now. And 58% of the budget that you're spending today affects sales 6 months plus down the road, right? You've had tremendous success, 120 some new clients in the past 2 months, which is impressive, right? What part of your advertising strategy do you believe contributed the most to that success?
We partnering retargeting people that touch our site and touch our ads, retargeting them and touching them for, I think it's 30 days. I think we touch them for,
Google
you know
responsive
more, you
display.
know
Yep.
better than I do.
Yep.
It touches them for a certain period of time after they touch us. And I think what happens is they touch us because they see the ad. Our logo is unique. Okay, it's a genie with poop on it on his head. And people are quick to click on that. Okay, and we use that to our advantage. All right, and because they click on that, I just think the retargeting stuff has been so valuable for us. And Keith, we were running digital, but we weren't doing any retargeting campaign for a while. And
Leaving a lot of customers on the table.
right, and we made the decision that we were going to start doing that.
Yep.
And you told me I was nuts for not doing it, and I didn't listen to you in the beginning. And then we added it, and then I told you, oh man, I've noticed an uptick. I think it was in December. I was like, oh man, like I've noticed, whatever we're doing, just keep doing it. And let's spend more money or whatever, and it's been super valuable for us. And when we went to Maryland, we did both, because I believed it was working.
We
And
for a second. So we took the campaign that we were running and all the tactics and layers that we're using in Pennsylvania's campaign, and we basically duplicated that
right,
in the Maryland campaign to start there.
right, and there's a period of, you're going to make mistakes in marketing in the beginning because you're gonna. And the key is when you find out what works, you know, when you find out what works, if that's what's working, keep doing it. And then if you need to make the changes, make them. But when you find that secret sauce, it's like you said, we just copied what we were doing, and boom, we just started doing it in Maryland. And now we're tweaking Maryland, right? Because we said,
Yep.
okay, how can we do better in Maryland? Well, I think we can do better doing this or doing that. So for us, for me, it's meeting monthly for sure. Just going over the data and just understanding it because it's a lot, and pairing everything together. So it's working together. That's the biggest difference for us.
The the reviews that we do monthly, I totally agree with you. They're the most important key to this, because if you're if your client, from my perspective, if the client that you're working with doesn't understand really how it's working, what's going on behind the scenes, and they're like, well, how do I know I got those sales from the digital efforts that you're doing? How do I know somebody didn't see this or hear that, or but it's a way for us to be very transparent, because when you think about the digital landscape, I mean, I sell everything, and anything that you want to buy digitally from a marketing standpoint, I can sell it. I can build a campaign for, but it's not about going to people and trying to sell or push any specific product, right? It's really about taking that business's specific needs and identifying a custom program that fits their marketing goal, number one, and their marketing budget, number two, right? So radio is great for reaching people in big numbers. Think 120,000 people or more adults weekly listening throughout the week. Now, you may specifically not listen to radio, but 9 out of 10 people do. Digital is great for pinpoint targeting your ideal customer and putting your offer in front of them. So for other small business owners hesitant about investing in radio and digital, what advice would you give them?
I'm a big believer in finding people that are a lot smarter than me in different areas and hiring them to do work for me. And for me, um, in the beginning, you think you know everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start doing it, and then the reality is that you'd be better off hiring somebody to do it that knows that's an expert, and having them do it for you.
And the time
Because
saver too.
it saves you time, and you're gonna grow so much quicker when you have somebody that knows how to do it. And
Yeah.
that's a tough thing for people when they start out, is they don't have the budget. And but I tell everybody, I talked to Keith. Keith called me when I started Poop Genie, and I didn't hire him. And a year went by, and I remember I talked to him. I said, "Well, that guy's sharp, and he's a lot smarter than I am. When I can afford to hire him, I'm going to hire him." And what happened? I think he reached out a year later, and I said, "Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it."
Yeah.
Right? And um, lots of times you're scared to bring somebody else on board to do it, because you think, well, I can just do it because it's going to save me,
It's
whatever. But,
cheaper if I do it
but the
myself.
revenue you're going to bring in is so much more valuable than the little money you're going to save by trying to do it yourself, because
Yeah.
you're going to be buttoned up. Everything's going to be buttoned up for you. And that's what I suggest to local business owners is don't be afraid to take the leap. Believe in it. Give it some time to work, and it'll work out for you. Don't give up. That's another thing. Lots of times people, it's like we were just talking. It takes a little while for the marketing to work. Um, you know, you got to give it some time, because you're planting those seeds, like you said with the apple seeds. You're planting those seeds, and um, lots of business owners never get to harvest the fruit of their labor, right? Because they give up in 6 months. And I tell everybody, you got to give it a little bit of time, because all that's going to come back to you. You just got to wait for it to work.
It's essential for sure, because some people think, I'll build this beautiful store, stock all the shelves with whatever they're selling, and I'll open the doors and people will just come in. And that's just unfortunately not how it works. Maybe if somebody's walking by and that catches their interest, they'll walk in. But if you're not actively telling people about yourself, you're not staying top of mind. Again, reach, frequency, consistency in the message. What are your marketing plans going forward to maintain or build on this growth?
We're probably. I mean, we're talking about budgets next year. Probably going to up the budgets a lot in certain areas. We're probably going to. I haven't told you this yet. We're probably going to expand to Delaware next year,
Nice.
possibly New Jersey. So for us, it's um, do we have the staff and the manpower to do what we want to do? Do we need to bring new people on to do what we want to do, and then find ways to partner with you guys to market our business, so we can
Sure.
so we can do that. And that is I'm big on digital, and when we started running radio, um, we did a program. I think you're going to talk about later, and I wasn't sure if radio would work. It's like you said, some people, you think customers don't listen to radio, but some do, right? And uh, and we ran the radio program, and I've been so impressed with it. And I told you I want to do that again. And it's one of those things where it's good to try a bunch of different things. But for me, digital's big. We're going to up our budgets for digital for 2025 and going into 2026. So that's kind of what we're planning on now.
So finally, can you share? I know you've given us a bunch of good advice, good ideas, but can you share your best gold nugget piece of advice? Maybe not on um, the category of your business, but just as a business owner that you can share with other small business owners that are just starting out.
My biggest thing is when you start the business is to make sure you're priced right. And when I say priced right, that doesn't mean being priced where your competitor's at, because your competitor might be too cheap. That means being priced so you can scale the business. So when you price everything, you need to be priced so that there's enough money left over that eventually you can hire staff. So you're not the person doing all the work, and you got to think about other things: taxes, workers' comp, marketing. Okay, and making sure that you're priced correctly so you have the budget to market the way you want to. Look, we run a lot of digital marketing and we spend a lot of money. We have a pretty big, for a poop scooping company, we have a huge budget. Okay. But we can do that because we were priced correctly. So my advice to new business owners and local business owners is to keep an eye on that and make sure that you're priced correctly, and that there's enough margin left over to do the things you want to do to grow the business. If you don't, it's really hard to get caught up later.
Very nice. Well, for more information about Poop Genie's convenient and reliable pet waste removal services, visit poopgenie.com and see how they can make your yard spotless and your life easier. That's poopgenie.com. Your yard will thank you. Remember, if you're a small business owner in York, Lancaster, Camp Hill, or Harrisburg, drop your name and your business name in the comments below. And if you'd like an invitation to our exclusive free marketing workshop happening April 22nd and 23rd, every business owner who RSVPs and attends will be entered into a drawing for a chance to win $5,000 in free radio advertising. After commenting, head over to centralpaadvertising.com to register for the event nearest you. I look forward to meeting you. Keith, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks. Thank you.
Take care.
Appreciate it.